Hello, so today we're going to talk about my favorite manga series. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 series here. You will notice that they're either like these really like cutesy fun ones, or they're the worst thing you've ever seen, with one exception, that being the first one. So yeah, we're going to talk about them, what makes them my favorite. One of the series is one that has held on. Like, the first one I'm going to talk about was like my first manga series, and it's mostly nostalgia, I think, that makes me love it. But yeah, let's get into it, and we'll start with the first one. And the first one is Bleach, by Tite Kubo. Here's the cover of the first volume. This was my very first anime and manga when I was in, I think, like middle school. My best friend got really into Bleach, and so I got really into Bleach. The art style has really evolved. In this first volume, it's pretty standard for the time, but honestly, Kubo got really good. Basically, this was one of the big three back in the day. It was Bleach, One Piece, and Naruto, and Bleach, I think, Bleach finished. Bleach ended, and the other two didn't, and so it kind of got left behind, although I heard that it's picking back up again, which is kind of fun, in like a same way as like Boruto did, where it's like Ichigo and Orihime have a kid. Spoilers, I guess. Sakadichi Ruki shippers. But basically this follows this kid, Ichigo Kurosaki, as he can see ghosts. He's 15 years old, he can see ghosts, and it's really annoying. And one day a Soul Reaper comes through into his home, and he ends up taking some of her powers, ends up taking all of her powers, and becomes like this kind of rogue Soul Reaper. Like I said, this was my first, and so it has that nostalgia push for me. Second, this is my favorite probably anime and manga of all time. It's so funny. It is so funny. I love it so much. That's Monthly Girls no Zakon by Izumi Tsubaki. Here's the cover of the first volume. There are 13 volumes out in English right now. There is a 1-season anime adaptation. I wish we got more. Basically, this is the funniest fucking. It's so funny. It is more of like a episodic situation. Basically, this follows this girl, Chio Sakura, this girl back here, and she has a huge crush on this guy right here. But when she goes to confess her love to him, he thinks that she is asking for an autograph, because he is actually a famous manga artist. And he writes under a feminine pseudonym to write this like really cutesy, lovey manga series, and she ends up becoming one of his assistants. And everybody in this series is so dense. They're so dumb. Every single one of them. Like, they all have to take turns playing the straight man because they're all so dumb. My favorite is Miko Shiba on the back there. But yeah, all the characters are so fun. I love it so much. It is hilarious. Every time I read a volume of this, and when I rewatch the anime, I'm just cackling. It's so funny. Then, this one is a finished series. That is A Silent Voice, Volume 1, by Yoshitoku Oyama. Here's the cover of the first one. This is a 7-volume series. Nice little artwork there. Basically, this follows these two kids when they were younger, when they were in elementary school, which is how old they are in the first one here, because it was originally a one-shot that got extended. When they were in elementary school, she's deaf, and she came into their class, and he bullied her pretty ruthlessly. And when she left, the entire class turned on him, and so he spent his entire rest of his elementary school, all of his middle school, and most of his high school life being extremely withdrawn, extremely like, he just completely alone, completely unwilling to make friends, because he spent most of elementary, middle school being just like shoved around because he kind of deserved it. But then eventually, when they're both, I think, seniors in high school, they're both like almost out of high school at the very least, they meet each other again, and it's them kind of learning how to become friends, maybe something more. It's a very sad series. It's extremely depressing. It has a movie, and that's also very sad, but it's a really good one. Yeah. And now, our first of the For the Love of God Why series is Corpse Party Blood Covered series. Here's the first volume. Let's see if I can find a. Well, that's actually not so bad. So this is what the art looks like. This is a manga adaptation of the it was a game series, and it has like a 4 episode anime. It's got like a live action movie. It's got a bunch of games, and it's got this blood covered series. Volume 4 is extremely difficult to find in English. I got lucky and I found a copy for $20, but mostly if you want the whole set, you're gonna have to pay like $200 for Volume 4. But basically, this is about this school, and it sucks people in by when they play this like little game. They go to the school and it just kind of all kills them off, and this follows this group of junior high students. I believe they're junior high students. They might not be. They might be high school. Either way, this group of teenagers, and they end up getting sucked in school, and they all just die horrible deaths. So, it's fun though. It's fun, very bloody. Next, this is a newer one. A newer favorite. I've always been really into sports anime, sports manga. This started with Kuroko no Basket, which I loved in high school, more the anime than the manga. And then I did watch a good part of this anime when I was in high school, and then I kind of dropped it. And then I recently started reading the manga and rewatching the anime, and I love it so goddamn much. That is Haikyuu. This is the first volume. It's about Haruichi Furutate. It is volleyball. Basically, this follows this kid. He is extremely short, but he's very athletic. He can jump like a crazy person. And this kid who was like the best setter ever, and they end up on the same volleyball team, and it's just a sports series. They just the volleyball team wants to win, and I don't know. I like it. I like the characters. I think it's very funny. This is probably the most popular manga that I'm really into right now, and it's pretty popular. I mean, it really took off in a way that a lot of the other sports manga never did. Still a little bitter about Kuroko no Basket never getting this level of popularity, because anyway, but I love all the characters. I think it's very fun, and I'm very much enjoying it. Next, let me just drop all the books. It's fun. So this one, I love this game series, and I've loved it since high school. I was a Homestuck, and when there was the hiatus, all the Homestucks moved over to a different series for a while before we went back. And if you're also Homestuck on Tumblr in 2014, 2015, you will probably know what series this is. But they've got a lot there. There's a lot of different games, and there are a lot of different manga adaptations. And I think honestly the best manga adaptation is the manga adaptation for Danganronpa 2: Goodbye Despair. This is the first volume. I might be biased because I think this is my favorite game. I like the characters the most in this one. But I think that the art is much better than the first volume. I think it does a good job of making it interesting. I like the way the investigations are done better. Basically, the Danganronpa series, there are, I believe, 3 games, and then Ultra Despair Girls, there's a anime adaptation of the first game, and then there's another anime adaptation that kind of fills in some blanks. But basically, it's like these killing games, essentially. Oh fuck, I should have grabbed Battle Royale. I don't really know if that's my favorite manga series though. I'm just mostly just collecting it just because I just love the franchise, which is kind of the same with this one, I guess. But the second game basically takes place on this island, and yeah, our main character doesn't know what his talent is. That's the whole thing. These Hope Speak Academy, they all have the special talent. Like in this group, there's like the super high school level mechanic and the super high school level gymnast and stuff like that. And so like they're the best at what they do. And this kid can't remember his. He doesn't know what it is. And then another one of those, what the ever loving fuck, Aurora. Nobody should read this. This is one that I've loved again since high school. I read it online, and then it started getting published officially in English. And that's Good Night Pun Pun by Inio Asano. Asano is pretty popular for being kind of subversive. Let's see if I can find a good page. This series follows this kid Pun Pun, and he is drawn as non-human throughout pretty much the entire thing. He starts off when he's a kid as a bird, and he kind of transforms as he gets older, but it basically follows him in an extremely fucked up life. Like he just can't ever really catch a break with anything. Like he's got lots of weird shit going on, and it's really depressing. My favorite character is Seki, and I love him a lot, and I just really enjoy the series. It's 7 volumes. Volumes 1 through 6 are pretty thick. They're about this size. Volume 7 is like more normal sized. This is also getting out of print now, so it's harder to find. but it is, honestly, Asano is fantastic. I also read A Girl on the Shore, which depressed me like nothing else. But Pun Pun, this is something, like I said, like I read it when I was in high school, and I think there might be an element of nostalgia here, but it's depressing, and I think the art is beautiful, and I like the it's just one bad thing after another, essentially. So if you don't want to be absolutely depressed, then maybe don't. But I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoy Asano. But yeah, those are currently what I think of. I think of my top manga series. There are others that I really enjoyed. There are others that I keep around. Normally, I don't keep them around unless I really enjoy them. But sometimes, I don't know. These are my top 7. These are, if I had to answer, like, what are your favorite manga series? These are probably the 7 that I would answer with. But yeah, that is all for today. I'll talk to you later, and goodbye.